Mummy, I want to go to the candy store.
Oh dear.
And it made them have British accents.
Subscribe or else! Or else!
For today's video, we're going to be looking at a very cool new model called LTX-2. This is a native audio video model. So essentially what that means is this is a model that generates video from either text or image prompts. But in addition to that, it also generates the corresponding audio that would be synced up with that video. So this is almost akin to having a Sora or Veo3 at home, which does present itself as a decent clickbaitable title potentially. So I do apologize if I do end up doing that. But this is something that is just extremely cool to have, and I am running it locally on a DGX Spark, but it is a bit slow, so we're going to test it on that machine today. But as well as that, we're going to just test some prompts in their playground because it will speed things up and we'll be able to test more examples in the same allotted slice of time. Now, I would like to just talk a little bit about this model, but truthfully with something like this, it's just kind of more interesting to actually showcase it and demonstrate it and see what funny things we can get it to do. So we'll talk a little about this and then jump into a demo. Now, first and foremost, please don't forget to subscribe, and you can also support the channel for less than 10 cents a day, or you can book a consultation on implementing AI into your business at bjambone.com. Now, to get started here, I basically think, ironically, the best way to give a TLDR of what specifically this model is by looking at the AI-generated summary of the paper that was corresponding to this model. So LTX is an open source audiovisual diffusion model that generates synchronized video and audio content using a dual stream transformer architecture. And there's just a bunch more techno jumble right there. But basically this gives us image to video slash audio or text to video slash audio, which is very cool and can produce some rather funny results just in my light testing that I have done so far with this. Now, there are a bunch of different checkpoints here for folks who are interested in running this locally. It will definitely be very nice to see that you have the opportunity to have the FP8 or NVFP4 version. And in addition to that, while I am personally not using ComfyUI to run this because I am not, I do have to make note that I did do some exploration of what it would take to get that done. And in the GitHub repository for this model, if you scroll all the way down, they do have some ComfyUI instructions. And I did see there were a few discussions of folks needing specific tweaks and things to get that working. So one may have to do some experimentation in getting that working, but it is hypothetically supported, which is awesome to see. Now, beyond that, I mean, if you want to know how to prompt this, this is definitely something that seemingly needs more intricate prompts. And they do have a specific page here on prompting guide. And really, for at least the first test we're going to do, I basically just recycled this prompt right here, but changed some of the dialogue to make it a bit more humorous to oneself as I kind of crane my neck to look over to see the status indicator or how long this is taking on the Spark. It should be done relatively soon, and then we'll get our first look at one of these results. Take a look at our first result, which I did modify some of the dialogue to basically say funny bathroom words.
When did you first notice that pee poop? Give me the 590 GPU or else.
All right, so it is quite odd. Now, that is just a result of this, but I think the takeaway here is that, one, video quality here... The video quality here is not bad, but the cool thing, the thing that kind of pushes it over the edge, at least for me, is the sound being synced up with the video being generated at the same time. So, like, you hear audience laughter, and then for some reason this guy looks very disgruntled, but this does look like some form of Jerry Springer / Maury Povich
90 GPU or else
daytime TV show. The camera movement is something else that's fairly impressive because it is not just generating static shots with like only these individuals moving. The entire scene is moving. The camera is moving. It zooms
when
in.
Did you first
and
notice
like
that pee-pee-poop?
This is almost like a camera on
Give
a
me the
boom
590
basically
GPU or else.
with different angles and things like that. Like that basically, it's just cool. I guess I don't really need to explain it too much considering that we can all watch it. But now...
When did you first notice that pee-pee-poop?
Essentially, I'm going to put in a more realistic prompt here, but while that's generating, as it will take quite a while, we're going to just go ahead and do some maybe image to video audio from their playground as well. All right, I don't know how this is going to work, but I gave it a screenshot of my YouTube channel, and then I basically told it to make them all, like, every face there talk, like in the Brady Bunch show introduction. I have no idea how this is going to go. Okay, audio is on. There is no camera motion. I'm just going to press generate video. Now this I just signed up for free. I didn't put any payment method in or anything, so I don't know how fast or slow this will be. I also don't know what my 100% credits will drop to upon the conclusion of this. But the good thing is we're running it locally as well, so it doesn't really matter. But I do also want to test it here in the playground because this has the image to video audio pipeline set up, and we can get more done if we're like waiting for the slow local one to generate and playing with it online as well. So this should be hopefully cool, potentially concerning. Okay, so that used 48% of my credits. I guess we'll be able to do one more of these. This I can already tell is scary. It has butchered the faces. All right, let's just...
Subscribe or else! Or else! Subscribe or else! Or else! Subscribe or else! Or else!
All right, I'm just trying one more, really anything to get the previously generated result out of my memory, and this is of myself shaking hands with a humanoid robot and just designed to basically give them some simple dialogue just to see how it does that. All right, let's see how this...
Thanks for the launch codes, robot. Beep. Whatever. Beep, nerd, beep.
Okay, well, it only made the robots speak, and to that point, this is just how the robot's face looked. It gave it like this weird, quite disturbing mouth hole, but also I want to pay specific note to, I know it's silly, but the way when the shaking hand stops and the arm like slaps back down, you hear the metal clank corresponding with that specific movement, and that's just really quite alright. Like,
Beep.
It's just cool. I don't know, I mean, if you're still watching, you probably find this cool as well. I'm not a huge fan of what this did to my aesthetic qualities, but...
Thanks for the launch codes, robot. Beep. Whatever. Beep, nerd, beep.
And it did a good job keeping the joints consistent from the source image as well. If we were just to basically analyze the video qualities of this now, aside from the audio...
For the launch codes, robot. Beep. Whatever. Beep, nerd, beep.
That's pretty decent. So now, because my credits ran out here, I suppose I could just also go back to the Hugging Face spaces that I did rip off for this web UI. I'm just going to wait for the Spark to finish its specific presentation prompt right here, and then we'll go and do some more. All right, we're probably about to get our result for the business person giving a presentation who begins making car honking noises.
Honk, honk, honk.
What the? Oh, well, it demonstrates its ability to have different camera shots within the same clip. Now, I find, I find more concerning.
Honk, 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 honk.
Is this face or lack thereof. Let's just, wow. Okay, I'm gonna, well, I will play this natively in the thing so you'll hear the audio properly, but.
Honk, 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 honk.
Wow, okay. That is quite something. All right, because this takes so long, I'm just going to start another generation here. But in the meantime, we'll go and try to see if we can use one of these Hugging Face spaces. All right, I was not going to be able to use this at all in the Hugging Face space unless I upgraded to Pro. So I did, because to be honest with you, I'm very interested in testing this on video together. So I have given it this image of two robots shaking hands and said make it come alive with cinematic motion, smooth animation, and both robots making a sound like blah, 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 or something of the sort. This, of course, was an image created by whichever GPT had the first image capability built into it. I think it was 4.0. Don't quote me on that. So we'll see what happens. Okay. I guess, so this was mistaken for music. That's probably on me. The prompt isn't the best. Now, I'm gonna just go ahead and mute this, and we'll take a look at least how it did in bringing the animation to life. So they smile. It seems to have them like look away, shy in some form or another, and you can see that, you know, they stop shaking hands when they both release their grip at the same time, which is good. I'm gonna perhaps do something else now. Oh, enhanced prompt was enabled. That's the problem. My genius prompt didn't get through. All right, we're going to try a retro LAN party prompt here, something a little more serious. You can read the prompt right here while I'm speaking. I just had ChatGPT generate this using their prompt guide as a reference, basically saying a retro LAN party in 1998. So we'll see what this comes up with, and this will be more of a realistic test as opposed to something perhaps more questionable.
I got you!
So that was quite good. The sound was, I find in some of these, the sound is quite painful, but I mean,
I got you!
that's fairly well done. I know obviously you may be like, well, Veo3 Sora is better. I mean, this can be run locally, and as a matter of fact, it is being run locally in this tab, just albeit a bit slower. So the fact that it syncs up the audio and like, I don't know. I don't need to kind of like glaze it. It's cool. So that was interesting. I do want to experiment more with this one. Okay, our Spark result is almost done, so we're going to wait for that one, and then I'll try some more image to video. Okay. The quality here is not the best, but I am okay. Just out of pure curiosity, I'm trying the same exact prompt here in the Hugging Face space, just because I want to see another version of that, because I found it pretty funny, and it would take too long to do it on the Spark. So we're probably going to run the few remaining tests on this, and then I'll just try some image to video generation ones. All right, that wasn't funny. It was just creepy. It looked like that person like became morphed with the other one. That was really actually rather disturbing. Watch this. So there's two distinct individuals, one right here and one right here, and this one like gets sucked into that one, and then they become one. Ugh. Ugh. That was just not. That was creepy. Ugh. I don't like that. I did not like that at all. All right, so for this one, we'll try image to video, where essentially it's this man, me, at a dinner table with a motorcycle, and he says, "How is the food, dear?" And then the motorcycle responds with a vroom sound. So we'll just see how it does in creating this.
How's the food, dear?
What the? Why? Why? Did you hear that? He was like, "Vroom." That was that was good, but the voice of the motorcycle was just awful. I'm going to download this one because you deserve to be able to see this natively as it was and not through a screen recording.
How's the food, dear? How's the food, dear?
Room. That's just weird. That's just.
How's the food, dear?
All right, I'm going to try this one where essentially it should bring it to life, where he slams the door and then speeds off. That was cool. It accelerated a bit slow and it did not sound very good, but Here's one, and I did select enhance prompt. Basically, it's just a circuit diagram of an Arduino. So I've said the 2D photo becomes 3D and the motor moves and whirs. This will just be interesting to see how it manages that. And I do, again, have prompt enhancement on, so it should not just use this very lackluster one-sentence prompt. Okay, I don't quite know what I expected, but it wasn't necessarily this. But, you know, it animated it and made some electrical sounds. Okay. All right, so for the final one, I've just given it this photo and said, the man says, "Mommy, I want to go to the candy store," and the woman says no. Obviously, the joke being that that would not ever be a piece of dialogue between the two of these people. So we'll see how it does.
Mummy, I want to go to the candy store.
No, dear.
That's good. That was probably one of our best results. And it's just funny because of, like...
Mummy, I want to go to the candy store.
No, dear.
Interesting the way that, like, she looks at the camera afterwards. It's just...
Mummy, I want to go to the candy store.
No, dear.
The grass is moving. The fog in the background is moving. This is well done.
Mummy, I want to go to the candy store.
No, dear.
And it made them have British accents. And I do believe that would be because I said mummy instead of mommy. So hopefully it pulled it from that.
Mummy, I want to go to the candy store.
No, dear.
All right. That's going to wrap up our testing of this. I do have to say, this is definitely... it's definitely kind of cool. These are just some of my like GPT prompts that I've been having it do. This is very neat. And the fact that it actually can generate sound is really just what puts it like in its own league in terms of what we have accessible to run locally. This can be run locally. I do believe I did neglect at the beginning. It does seem to have some form of proprietary license, so folks may want to look at that specifically depending on how they plan on using this. But it can be run locally, and I believe it has a decent amount of support, even if you have like a... I don't know if a 16 gig card would use it, but I didn't do much investigation in terms of like the minimum viable hardware to run this. But I do believe I saw some people reporting some of their experience with that in the GitHub repository for both here and then specifically the ComfyUI integration one as well, because that is definitely going to make this more accessible to run locally and just easier to set up and things like that. So overall, I was very excited to test this, and it can be pretty cool. Now, obviously, the extent of what I can showcase with it has to be constrained for a public audience, but it can be somewhat hilarious outside of what we have tested as well, so make of that what you will. And regardless, that's going to conclude our first look and test of LTX-2. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and thanks for watching.